folks, welcome back to Being on My Arc. Normally I do a pan slowly around the aircraft, but I am just enjoying this view so much. Today is the video that I hinted at in the previous video, that we are going to enjoy the flight simulator in 4K with most settings cranked to the max, including my SkyMaxx Pro settings. And we're going to talk about those settings, and we're going to talk about frame rates and performance with my brand new to me flight simulator PC. As I mentioned in the previous video, I have been waiting 20 years to get a computer that could run flight simulator the way it's intended, and it finally happened to me. I must be dreaming. I can't believe it. And I am just gazing at this image in front of me in awe. So the point of this video, well, this is the third time I've recorded this video, because the first two takes, or first two videos, I guess, all I did was chase frame rates. And I don't want to be a frame rate chaser. I want to approach this that if it's smooth, then it's right, as it hiccups. How funny was that? Anyway, so if it's smooth like it is now, I don't care if it's 70 frames per second, 21 frames per second, 35, I don't care. And right now it is perfectly smooth. I've got pretty much everything cranked up. I've got the worst possible cloud configuration in terms of performance slaughtering. So it looks beautiful, but in terms of performance, I have the cloud set to as horrible as possible for a computer to work with, and it's smooth. And I turned off frame rates. I just turned off the frame rates because I don't want to know what they are. I don't want to know if they're 21, 31, 41, 71 frames. I don't care. It's smooth. Our settings are very, very high. We have clouds as far as the eye can see. Look at that. The clouds don't end. They go to the horizon. And I am just in awe. I know for some of you, this is normal for a lot of you. For others, I feel really guilty actually making this video, because you are in the position I was in, where you have to turn down everything just to get 15 frames per second. And here I am looking across the Minneapolis airport in immense detail. And so this is actually a difficult video for me to make, because those of you who are in the position that I was in a few days ago, where you would fly across a busy city with your objects turned down so low it looked like farmland just to get performance out of the simulator, that's where I was a couple days ago. But today it's the opposite. And I don't want to be excluding people who are on lower end machines like I was a couple days ago, but I also don't want to annoy the people who have always had high end machines and have a much higher end machine than I do, right? So difficult video for me to make. Like I said, this is my third time making this video. So and it's an unusual video too. So if you are new to the channel, please check out the regular videos. This is not a regular video for the channel at all. I'm just in awe. I've waited 20 years to be able to do what I'm doing right now. Circling a plane with clouds to the horizon, with every building drawn in the evening, with shadows turned on, by the way. And I just can't believe it. 20 years it took me to get to this point, and here we are. So let's do some flying. So let's see. Let's just get this thing started. We're not going to do anything all complicated or fancy with the actual airplane. We're just going to go in the sky in an urban area, check out Minneapolis with everything cranked in the evening. The reason why I made it evening was because of shadows, with the worst possible cloud scenario in terms of performance, and adjust myself in the chair on my rudder pedals, and away we go. I'm still getting used to these rudder pedals. Still getting used to how sensitive they are. Maybe I'm going to turn down the sensitivity. I'm still having a hard time with this here, but practice. This is only my third flight with rudder pedals out of thousands of flights without rudder pedals. So here we go. Let's lift off. Flaps coming in. And I don't even have my presets set yet. But look at this. So like I said, my first 2 attempts at this video, I had the frame rates in the corner. And I'm like, oh, we're getting this, we're getting that, we're getting this. And I don't care. I just care that it's smooth. And we're in 4K, by the way. I tried downscaling to 1080p, and because it's natively a 4K monitor I'm using, it looked like garbage. So 1080 or 4K it is. Flying in 4K. I'm going to record in 4K. I'm going to encode and upload to YouTube in 4K. The downside, of course, is I lose 15 frames per second in 4K. And when I record in 4K, I lose another 12. And so between the two, I'm losing like 25 frames per second. As an example, when I fly like this without recording, I was getting like 50 frames per second. But when I start recording, I'm getting like 35-ish. So I kind of know what frames I'm getting. But like I said, I don't care. It's smooth. That's all I care about, except for that, because I'm using new mapping on my yoke. I'm trying something different, and I'm not used to it. But look at this, silky smooth. So, as I was saying 5 minutes ago, 2 parts to this video. The first part is just flying around a little bit and enjoying all the detail for the first time. And I know all the other YouTubers who have 10, 20, 30, 40,000 subscribers. This is old news. But for me, this is a brand new experience. So anyway, the first part of the video is going to be flying around enjoying what we haven't been able to enjoy for 20 years. And that's a detailed, smooth flying experience. And then the second part of the video, I'm going to actually show you my settings. And you can take what you want from that. And again, if you are new to the channel, this is not a normal video. So please, 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 at the very least, check out one regular flight. But otherwise, we're just flying over Minneapolis. There's the skyline in the background. Lake Nokomis, Lake Hiawatha to the right of the plane. And I'm totally spacing out. Oh, Diamond Lake in the middle. And then we've got Harriet Calhoun, Cedar Lake, Lake of the Isles over there. Look at this. In the clouds. Heavy cloud cover, but not solid, because solid cloud cover is better performance than heavy cloud cover. So we have heavy cloud cover, because I wanted to make this the worst case scenario. Shadows all over the ground, they're working just fine. Look at that airplane skidding across the grass. What's this? What is that? That's an AI plane. You see that below the tail? What? Anyway, so let's just enjoy this. This is crazy. This is absolutely insane. I was going to bring us to a rural area, but there really is no need to go to a rural area. But look at that. Now when I look down at those neighborhoods, I see neighborhoods. Up until today, when I will look down, it would just be empty fields. And those were the 2 straws that broke the camel's back. One is flying over an urban area and looking at fields. And 2, there's so many updates happening to operating systems and video cards and other software and simulator stuff. It was bogging my old computer down to the point where I had to turn off clouds from my last flight. And I just couldn't take it anymore. So, here we are. I'm 40 years old. I have a professional job. I'm like, you know what? It's time. It's time to run a simulator the way I wanted to. And we're in 4K. I think I mentioned, yeah, we're in 4K. We're well over 20 frames per second. We're probably in the high 20s or 30s maybe. Like I said, I don't want to know. I don't need to know. I just know it's smooth, and I'm happy. Look at that. Let's see, can we make this into a screenshot perhaps? Again, whenever you see it stall like that, that's screenshots, that's not performance. I'm taking a bunch of screenshots, so whenever you see it like jitter. Wow, look at that. Crazy. Let's go down to the ground here and have a look at all this detail. Should we make it a little earlier in the day? There we go. Let's redraw things. Very nice. So we're going to come down here, then we're going to go above the clouds, and then we will quickly look at my settings. And, but, you know, the entire point of this YouTube channel is to share my flight simulation experience with you all and learning. Because even though I've been flight simming for 20 years, I only started taking it seriously 2 years ago. I played it like a video game until 2 years ago. Oh, if you're wondering why Minneapolis actually looks like Minneapolis, by the way, it's I do have an old add-on. There's two. I have two Minneapolis add-ons that I kind of edited to mesh together so they'd work together. And I think they're from like X-Plane 9. So they do actually hurt performance. So if this performance is acceptable, imagine going somewhere where we don't have old add-ons. I really got to gauge some of my new key binding. Like I said, I'm trying new key things. Ugh, yuck. I think I got to make more changes. Anyway, after I lost track of what I was saying. Oh, so the point of the channel is to share my journey with you all. And wow, that is so accurate for Minneapolis downtown. Jeez. Just to share my journey with everybody, and this part of my journey is a big one. Getting a rig, a high-end gaming rig that can actually run the simulator. I can't believe it. And it's not even the highest of high. Like, it's an 8700 processor. It's not a 97 or a 9900. It's an 8700, which is, old already. And it's a 2080 card. It's not a 2080 Ti. It's not a 1080 Ti. It's a 2080, which, 1080 Ti and 2080 Ti would both be better choices for flight sim, but I couldn't afford them. And I do have 32 gigs of RAM, though. I added that myself, and then a few other things that I added myself super cheap because I know how to do it. But otherwise, it's not even the highest end. But for me, it's more than I ever could have dreamed of. And again, I can thank my wife for the idea. If it weren't for her, I never would have spent money on a computer for Flight Simulator. But she knows what it means to me. It's my escape. I have a pretty crazy, intense personal lifestyle, or personal life. A lot of misfortunes and challenging things are going on in my life. So I go down to my studio to flight sim to get away. So it's extremely important to me. So anyway, look at that. You actually can see Minneapolis neighborhoods instead of Minneapolis fields. Jeez. Alrighty, let's make it. Look at that. Look at that fog. Oh my gosh. Whoops. How do you fly a plane backwards? Alright, let's make it a little bit more earlier in the day here. And now let's hop above the clouds. Now we're 17,000 feet up, which the Cessna's not going to do so well. But this is where we would fly like our B-1900D, other mid-range aircraft is at this altitude. If we can maintain it. Can we maintain it? Oh yeah, we're maintaining it. So this is what we would see in most of our other flights. And look at the cloud distance. I have that maxed out. And it goes almost to the horizon. Look at that. So this is what we're going to see most of the time. Again, this is the worst case scenario cloud situation for performance. We can make it overcast, but overcast is actually way easier on performance than broken. So that's why I have broken and not overcast. Overcast is just a white sheet. But this is broken. And look at the detail on the ground. All those objects are still being drawn in. More screenshots here. Look at that. So that used to be fields as of 2 days ago. But as of today, there are buildings below us in a major area. The antennae are straight, they're not jagged. The clouds go to the horizon instead of having a little tiny square around us. And look at it's smooth. I can't believe it. I'm so excited. So that's the other thing I wanted to show you. So one more thing I wanted to show you. Now we're at 32,000 feet, which would be our 727 flights. I never really even go above 29,000 because our flights are so low. But if you look, the clouds don't go all the way to the horizon anymore, but they go far enough that it looks like, oh, it's clear skies up ahead. It's very convincing. And we're at the cirrus layer. So even though the clouds don't go to the horizon, it's super convincing. But again, objects below us. So when we're flying at 31,000 feet, if we can maintain it, oh yeah, we're almost at 32,000. You look down, and you're like, oh yeah, we're over a major metropolitan area. You can see all the detail down there. There's Lake Minnetonka over there. Let's go back to Minneapolis. So we got little staking on the frame rates there, but look at that. If we're not panning, it's perfectly smooth. Look at that. If we do a slow pan, it's perfectly smooth. There you go. Looking back down. I'm taking screenshots. Sorry, I should have waited. There we go. There's Minneapolis proper, right below our towel. And you can tell it's an urban area now. This is not Ortho XP. This is just regular HD Mesh version 4. Yeah, so panning, it's a little bit much. But if we just fly and let go, or if we do our slow pan, it's working out great. I mean, look at this. Then to the south, you kind of see where it gets to be farmland. And then over there again, city. You can see the difference now. Oh my goodness. Crazy. Look at that. There's neighborhoods down there. Wow, you can see Highway 55. You can see downtown Minneapolis from up here. Again, this would be our jet cruise altitude. So let's get closer to the ground. And let's have a look at the settings in the simulator. And I'll show you what I have my stuff set to. So there you go. Let's start on the CPU side. World objects cranked all the way. That is a given. I will never adjust that slider now that I don't need to. We're always going to have maximum objects, period. I may tweak some other things, but that'll never slide down. Reflection detail, I have pretty much off because I'm not a fan of the reflection, especially when you crank it up high. What happens is you get an update like every half second or so, which I think is distracting. So I actually have never turned on reflection detail. I really don't have any need to. If I do crank it up, I lose exactly 10 frames per second. So I could use it. I could use it on max, but I'm not going to. I just don't like it. Draw parked aircraft, of course, that has to be on. Visual effects, high. If I crank it all the way up to the next level, I don't lose any more frames, but I just didn't see any benefit. Actually, I think I lost 2 frames per second or something. Anyway, it was negligible, but I actually prefer this setting to the maximum setting. Texture quality, because they only have a 2080 with 8 gigs of RAM, I'm going to keep it here. If you go uncompressed, you need a TI. Either a 1080 Ti or a 2080 Ti with 11 gigs if you're going to go max. Don't even go to max if you don't want one of those. So since I have a 2080, I'm not even going to try it. It's just going to sit right there. And anti-aliasing, this actually is maxed out because I have FXAA through the NVIDIA control panel itself outside of the sim. So if I crank it up, all it does is add FXAA, which the card is doing outside of the sim. Q8 Pilot had a really good video on that. I would search that. So with that in mind, this is maxed out. So everything is maxed out, in my opinion, except reflection detail, which I don't like. And the other big one for me, shadows on scenery. So if we look at the paused image behind this dialog box, look at all the shadows. Every single house has a shadow. Every single tree has a shadow. These little objects like poles have shadows. Look at that. Look at that. Shadows there. Let me undo this here and you'll see. See all the shadows? Everything has a shadow. It's just that immersion that you don't realize is gone until you add it back in. Look at that. Every single house has a shadow. Every single tree. Look at that. Across the highway. The shadows over here across the highway. Oh my gosh. The shadows of the trees in the park. This tall tree has a tall shadow. Look at that. Amazing. So let's look at that page again. So look at that. So again, my opinion, everything is maxed out. Everything. And I'm able to do shadows. I know most people turn shadows off. I try to compare frame rates with them on or off, and it depends where I am. Something like this, yeah, you're probably going to get 20 frames or something back. But if you're in a rural area, it doesn't do anything. So shadows are on, objects are on. Those are the 2 biggies for me. Everything else is just icing on the cake. So those are my settings for graphics. Now let's look at my SkyMaxx Pro settings. So here we are. I know it says version 4.7.2, but this is 4.7.3 because I just installed 4.7.3 right before I started recording. So I know it's 4.7.3. I don't know why it says 4.7.2. But anyway, check this out. Cloud area coverage, maxed out. Terrain blending, which is a gigantic performance problem. However, it makes a big difference, especially from the mountains. Maxed out. Cloud shadows, the darkness. Someone told me that the darkness does increase or decrease performance. I don't know why darkness would do that, but it does. I guess. I don't know. I haven't tested either way. I just like them really dark. Because if you think about it, if you're driving, especially like in mountains, and you look down below and you see cloud shadows on the ground, it's almost black, right? So I kind of would even like this darker, but it's dark enough. I like it between 72 and 87. So those big three, the big three performance things, if this is really a performance thing, all the way up, boom. So that, in my opinion, is maxed out. The rest of this is just fun stuff. I don't know why you would turn this stuff up. So I have that all down. I have that off. I have this on the lowest because I think the lowest actually looks the best, to be honest. It looks the most realistic. So I have that set down. Reflections on water. So when you go over the ocean or a lake, you see the clouds on the water. Absolutely. And the overcast. Now, HD cloud puffs will slaughter your performance, but I don't know why you would use it, because if you want overcast, you want a solid layer of clouds. Solid stratiform looks silly. It looks like somebody draw a white cartoon paint. I can't stand that one. But broken stratiform is perfect. I'm not I did like an hour demonstration on this, by the way. Just search on the channel. Broken stratiform is perfect for me. That way it's overcast, but you get a peek at the ground every once in a while. HD cloud puffs, not only is it a performance killer, it doesn't look like overcast. It just looks like more clouds. Anyway, so everything is set the way I want to run it for both SkyMaxx Pro and the simulator. And I'm completely satisfied. I'm so excited to share this with you, because again, the whole point of all this on the channel is sharing my journey, and this is a significant journey or stage of the journey of flight sim. I can't believe it. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Like I've said a half dozen times now, this isn't my normal format. So if you did find this video from searching YouTube, please check out a regular video. Otherwise, if you're a regular subscriber, thank you for continuing supporting. If you found me by accident, please like, please subscribe, please check out something more normal on the channel. And no matter who you are or where you came from, thank you for watching. And I'll catch you next time.